Shweta Chaudhary, and our topic for today is breathing and respiration. So, many of us think that breathing and respiration it's the same thing. There is no difference, but that's not the case. Breathing and respiration are two separate things, but yes, closely related. Today, first we will discuss about breathing in details, then we will move on to respiration. So, breathing means, just in simple words, breathing means inhalation of oxygen and exhalation of carbon dioxide. So what we know now is breathing is formed of two phases, inhalation and exhalation. So inhalation means intake of oxygen and exhalation means expelling carbon dioxide outward. Okay. So, what happens in between? We have taken oxygen inside and we are throwing carbon dioxide outside. In between taking oxygen and throwing carbon dioxide outside, everything that happens in between is known as respiration. And what is respiration? I am just giving a brief idea about respiration before going deep into breathing. So, then we will have a little knowledge how breathing and respiration are closely related. So, let me tell you chemical reaction of respiration. Chemical reaction of respiration is glucose combines with oxygen, 6 molecules of oxygen. There is a chemical reaction takes place between them and which results in formation of 6 molecules of carbon dioxide, 6 molecules of water and ATP. Now we will see different components, what is the source and what is the use. Okay, glucose. Glucose is carbohydrate molecule. Fine. And what is the source of glucose? In case of plants, it comes by the process of photosynthesis, and in case of animals, it comes by the process of digestion. Everything we eat ultimately gets broken into three simple, what should I say, molecules, food molecules, or the ultimate molecules needed for our body, which are carbohydrate, protein and fat. Fat gets deposited within our body. Protein is a bodybuilding molecule and carbohydrate is needed for the process of respiration. Okay. So this is the source of glucose. In plants by photosynthesis, in animals by digestion. Of course, there is one more thing I missed. If there is a scarcity of glucose, or like we are on fasting, or we have not eaten enough carbohydrate, then in that case protein or fat may be utilized. Okay. Now this is the reaction of respiration. Now glucose combines with oxygen. What is the source of oxygen? Very simple. As I said before, breathing, inhalation. Inhalation phase of breathing is the source of oxygen and the source of glucose is photosynthesis in plants or digestion in animals. Okay. Now these two combine, show a chemical reaction or undergo a chemical reaction and leads to the production of carbon dioxide. This carbon dioxide gets expelled from our body by the process of exhalation, which is the second or final phase of breathing. And water is produced, ATP is produced. Water is of course utilized by our body. There is no need of expelling water outside. If it is extra, it gets expelled by the process of urine formation or sweating, and ATP. For now, just learn that ATP is energy molecule. ATP means adenosine triphosphate. This is the full form of ATP and it is energy molecule. Every function we perform, from moving one finger of ours or blinking, we need ATP or energy molecule for that. Okay. So, why we need to perform respiration? Good question. Very easy. Because by the process of respiration, we get energy molecule. And as I said, for performing each and every function, we need energy molecule. And for the production of any energy molecule, we need to perform respiration. And for performance of respiration process, we need to breathe in and breathe out. So everything is closely related. Now you know how they are closely related. Fine. Acha. Now we need to discuss about the process of inhalation and exhalation in details. But before that, first we will see the structure of human lungs. It is necessary before going to this part. Let me tell you what is this structure. First of all, this is the right lung, this is the left lung. Right lung is slightly larger than the left one. It is natural. And there is one more thing, it has three compartments. It has only two compartments, 1, 2, 3. Maybe that is why it is little larger than the left one, because left one has only two compartments. Okay, it is divided only in two parts. It is divided in three parts. Fine. Now the structure of lung, it starts from, this is epiglottis. Let me write the names first, then I will tell you the function of each and every part. This is epiglottis. This portion is pharynx. This is epiglottis. This is pharynx. The initial few divisions of trachea. This whole longitudinal pipe-like structure is called trachea. Okay. This is epiglottis. This is epiglottis. This is pharynx. The whole structure is trachea, and the initial or beginning part of trachea is known as larynx or vocal cord. Larynx or vocal cord or voice producing box, and below larynx rest of the structure is known as trachea. Of course, the whole longitudinal structure is trachea, but mainly we will consider this portion as trachea because we have given different names to other parts. Fine. Now, let me tell you the function. Epiglottis. The function of epiglottis is to close this tracheal part when we are eating something or drinking water, because behind the tracheal part there is esophagus, and esophagus is a part of digestive system. When we eat something, it goes through esophagus to stomach, which is in the abdominal portion. Okay, this is the thoracic portion. Above it, head, neck, thoracic portion, then abdominal portion. Okay, in the thoracic portion, lung is situated. Below this there is diaphragm. In this portion there is diaphragm. The function of diaphragm is to separate abdominal portion and thoracic portion. In thoracic portion, lung is situated, and behind pharynx or tracheal part there is esophagus, which is also a pipe-like structure, and esophagus is a part of digestive system which is situated in abdominal portion. So when we eat something or drink something, it passes through esophagus to stomach, and at that time, if this tracheal portion remains open, then there is a chance of food or water to come inside the tracheal portion and go to lung. So for prevention of that, the epiglottis closes the outer opening of trachea. Fine. That is why we are suggested not to talk when we are eating, because if we talk while eating something at the same time, then what will happen? It will result into the accident of entering food or water inside the trachea, because as I said, larynx is the vocal cord. This portion is larynx. This portion is responsible for production of sound. So when you are speaking while eating or drinking, then epiglottis cannot close trachea. Epiglottis needs to be open, or trachea needs to be open. So at that time we are producing sound, we are eating something that is supposed to be passed through esophagus, but accidentally it might come inside trachea, and it will lead to choking, which could be life threatening. Fine. Okay, so now we know the function of epiglottis. This initial broader portion is known as pharynx. This is larynx, vocal cord, responsible for production of sound, and this portion is known as actual tracheal part. Now the trachea goes into right lung and left lung. That is, trachea gets branched. The right branch goes to right lung and left branch goes to left lung. And these two branches of trachea known as bronchi. In plural, bronchi. In singular form, bronchus. Each bronchus, two bronchi. Fine. Now each bronchus going into right lung and left lung divides again to form fine branches known as, this is bronchus, initial division of trachea. Now the bronchus again divides to produce bronchioles. Bronchioles, and ultimately bronchiole again divide to form air sacs. Air sacs means sac-like structure in which air is filled is known as alveoli. Alveoli is the final division of trachea. After that there is no further division seen. So we can say that alveoli is the structural and functional unit of lung. Like neuron is the structural and functional unit of nervous system. Nephron is the structural and functional unit of kidney. Just like that, alveoli is the structural and functional unit of lungs, because this is the ultimate division. After that, no minute structural detailing found in lungs. So now we know the structure of human lung. Let me revise it once again. First of all, this portion, this pipe-like structure is divided into different parts. Initial part, which acts as a door, is known as epiglottis. It closes the trachea when we are eating or drinking something. It remains open when we are breathing in or breathing out, or when we are speaking. Below this there is pharynx. Below this there is larynx. Larynx is the initial few divisions or initial part of trachea. It has the function of producing sound. Below larynx, the whole pipe-like structure is known as actual trachea, and trachea divides into two bronchi. Each bronchus goes into right lung and left lung. Then each bronchus again divides into fine pipe-like structures known as bronchiole, and then bronchiole again divides to produce alveoli or air sac. Alveoli is the plural form and alveolus is the singular, and each alveolus is ultimately responsible for process of inhalation and exhalation. They only store oxygen or carbon dioxide. Okay, fine. Now we will see how inhalation and exhalation takes place. Okay, let me tell you. Okay, this structure we know, this is diaphragm. In case of inhalation, what happens? In case of inhalation, we need to inhale or take in oxygen, right? In that case, diaphragm, the muscles of diaphragm, what they do, they contract and they come downward. This is in relaxed position. When they contract, they become kind of straight. Fine? Okay. So they come downward, and one more thing. This whole structure of lung is covered with ribs known as thoracic ribs. Of course, the ribs act as shock absorber so that lungs cannot get hurt if we met with an accident. Fine. So in case of inhalation, thoracic ribs come upward. There is more space now because diaphragm is going downward. Diaphragm is going downward, thoracic rib is coming upward, and there is huge space for engulfing air, right? Why? Because in case of when there is huge space, there is low air pressure. Why? Let me tell you an example. If we have seen a balloon, what happens? We pump it with air, it becomes really tight. Just a touch of needle or any sharp object will lead to bursting, right? Why? Because the pressure inside the balloon is huge, because there is less space, more air, and outside there is more space, less air. Atmospheric pressure becomes low, and the internal air pressure of balloon becomes high because there is less space. That is why the air inside the balloon wants to come out, because air always follows a gradient. It always moves from high air pressure to low air pressure. That is why it wants to come out. In the same manner, when there is huge space, because thoracic rib is coming upward and this diaphragm is going downward, so there is huge space, and inside the cavity there is low air pressure, and now the air pressure outside in the environment, which is atmospheric pressure, is greater than the air pressure within our body. So the air wants to come in because it follows a gradient from higher to lower air pressure. Um, that is why oxygen is coming in and filling the space. So in that way, inhalation takes place. Fine. Let me tell you. Let me write it in a summary form. Contraction of diaphragm, upward movement of thoracic rib, increased space which leads to low air pressure, and oxygen or air comes in. Fine. This is the process of inhalation. In case of exhalation, just opposite takes place. What happens? Relaxation of diaphragm takes place. Diaphragm again goes to its initial position, and downward movement of thoracic rib takes place. Now the thoracic rib also goes to its initial position. Now there is less space, means more air pressure. Now in our body there is high air pressure, and outside in the environment there is huge atmospheric pressure, and so the air wants to go out, and that air is nothing but carbon dioxide, which needs to be expelled out of the body. So in that way, exhalation process takes place. Let me write it down in a summary form. Relaxation of diaphragm, downward movement of thoracic rib, yeah, which leads to decrease in space. Ultimately, air pressure rises and carbon dioxide or air goes out. So in this way, inhalation and exhalation performed, and this oxygen is utilized in the process of respiration, and as a result carbon dioxide is produced, which is exhaled by our body. So this is the process of breathing. Now we will discuss about this respiration process in details, like in what stages this respiration is performed, what is cellular respiration, what is artificial respiration. There are many differences, but we will discuss it about in our next class. Thank you so much.